Welcome everyone to Charts Focus One, where we teach how to work hard and trade smart. So a few of you guys have been asking me to do a technical analysis on Tesla and go over the current swing trade that I have from last week on this name. So let's go ahead and start with the technical analysis. So Tesla here, if you take a look on the weekly time frame first. First of all, we're making a very wide, broadening, descending channel, or just a broadening channel to the downside. And during this broader movement to the downside, we've been seeing some really good relative strength. Now, why do I say that? Well, number one, as the overall markets were going down since the start of this year, this fiscal year 2022, Tesla has been making some very, very large pops to the upside, like we saw back in mid-March. And, once we start to kind of slow down with this downtrend on Tesla, we actually found some really, really good support in this specific area. So if you take a look here, and if we kind of trace back where the price kind of basically stopped its downtrend, you can clearly tell that the price had started to consolidate in the previous area where the price consolidated as well. And in this area, this was back in early 2021 and kind of the late 2021 as well. And this specific area here where we consolidated just showed that there's a lot of buyers. And for the fact that we didn't even come all the way back down to 2021 lows, okay, just shows you that there's a very, very good relative strength on this name. And if you look back here, specifically right here, okay, where my mouse cursor is at, you can clearly tell that there's a lot of buyers because we're making higher highs and consistent higher lows. And that eventually led to a very, very large outburst in price to the upside where we had this impulsive run up to this $1,000 per share price target, right? So obviously, we're looking at a post stock split share price, right? Because we've had a 5-for-1 stock split in the past year. If we kind of go in the past, so back in August 31st of 2020, okay? And now we're about to have another 3-for-1 stock split on the last week of August. So that brings me to my next point here. So let's go back to the daily time frame. So with that broader time frame in mind from the weekly time frame, let's take a look at the daily time frame. So first of all, this name was able to have a lot of strength after earnings. Okay, so they reported better than expected numbers on July 20th, 2022 after hours. And that enabled us to finally break out of this consolidation that we saw back on the weekly time frame, which was also forming a wedge chart pattern on the daily time frame. So with that in mind, the price was able to break straight through this descending level of resistance and eventually above the 780 critical level of resistance that we've been using since we began this consolidation and this base. And so after that breakout, we had a nice pullback, a very, very low volume pullback as seen here on the volume bars. And we used the 780 as a level of new support. So when we flip that 780 level of resistance into new support, that even gave us more confirmation that buyers should be coming in right now because this name is ready to rocket higher. And so it did. And eventually we reached that critical $800 plus share price. And eventually we have closed above $900 on Friday. Now, here's the interesting thing. So people were thinking that Tesla is going to start pulling back now because of the fact that we weren't able to hold above the daily 200 SMA, which is my yellow line here. Now, if you guys see my other color lines here, okay, so this is my 10, 21, and 50, right? And all three SMAs are now used as support by the price. So whenever we come back and retest either the 10, 21, or 50, as we've seen all in the past here, okay, we've been using it as support. And that just gives more corroboration that this name, Tesla, is ready to continue to move up higher. And so when we start to reject off of the 200 SMA, people were thinking that, okay, this is the end of the bull run, all right, and Tesla is ready to come back down and pull all the way back down and eventually erase all the gains that it made so far after earnings and eventually fill in the gap that we did not fill here, okay, from that earnings gap up. So obviously, I didn't think that, because as we're rejecting off the 200 SMA here on these specific two candlesticks, okay, we started forming a bullish flag. Okay, so it might not be as apparent on the daily time frame, but if you go to the 2-hour time frame, you can clearly see that there is an intraday bull flag being made during this pullback. And if you go on the smaller time frames, you can clearly tell as well that the selling volume is gradually slowing down as we're conforming to these two descending trend lines, right? We have a descending level of resistance and a descending level of support. And so this is what prompted me to look at this name and say, there must be a good swing trade on this name soon, because of the fact that we're now consolidating with low selling volume, and for the fact that we're kind of sticking close to that daily 200 SMA, right? We didn't immediately reject and come all the way back down and smack right back down to below 800 or around 800, or possibly even completely erasing the gains that we made 100%. But we didn't do that, right? Instead, we stuck around this 200 SMA, retesting it multiple times like we did on these two candlesticks, and we are constantly battling to stay above the momentum 10 SMA. And as we're doing that, right, as we're constantly trying to stay above the 10 SMA, what are we allowing to catch up? What SMA are we allowing to catch up? The 21 SMA. Okay, so as the 21 SMA continues to catch up to the price, eventually, after this video is done recording, okay, and when the new trading week starts, the 21 SMA will be used as a level of support and will support the price higher. Okay, so that is my complete technical analysis on SPY. Now, let's go over to my second objective for this video. So my first swing trade that I alerted in the private CFO Discord. Now, I'm not going to state which contract I currently have and swinging, and I'm not going to tell you guys exactly where I got in, but I'll give you guys a general entry. And the reason why for that is that, I want to keep things fair for my members. So if you guys want to know exactly where I got in and what contracts I'm currently holding and what contracts I'm also interested in for the new trading week, make sure you guys check the description box below where we have that link for you guys to subscribe. Okay, so that's all you have to do if you want that access to the private CFO Discord. Okay, so gain access to the CFO Swing Watch newsletter first, and then you'll get access to the CFO Discord immediately. All right, so with that in mind, let me give you guys the specific two price levels, specifically support levels that I was looking at on the day of entry. So August 10th, so this entire area right here was where I got in for my first entry, for my first principal position. And as I was looking at Tesla, okay, I saw that it bounced really well at this 850 support level. And if you take a look in the past, it was used as a level of resistance, a very, very small micro bull flag on the intraday timeframes where the price was able to break out of this 850 level of resistance. But this time, what we did is that we flipped that level of support, level of resistance, previous level of resistance into new support. We did that multiple times here, and then we did that on August 10th. And so as we start to rise up, I said, okay, there's also another level of potential resistance at 867. Okay, and the reason why I said resistance is that, well, the price was still underneath this level, this intraday level of 867. So if we were to rise above 867, then I would deem this level as support. And so on the next candlestick, right? I waited to see a retest of 867 because I wanted to see confirmation that buyers were indeed trying to push the price up higher above 850 and 867. So this candlestick showed me that yes, there's buyers present. But I waited for the next 2-hour candlestick to form to make sure that yes, indeed, for sure, that there's confirmation that buyers are waiting to push this price up higher and avoid this 867 level. And so once I saw that retest and that slight bounce starting to form around 867, that's when I got in. Okay, and that's when I also alerted my CFO Swing Watch members as well in the private CFO Discord. And my entry around 867, okay, was kind of it was a very loose entry, right? I didn't go exactly at 867. I waited for more of a bounce to kind of give me more confidence that there are buyers present. And so I also set up a very loose stop loss, and it was actually a very valid stop loss because it's one of the best ways to have a stop loss, a very easy way to have a stop loss. And that stop loss was, well, if we lose the low of the day, which was 850.50 on this specific 2-hour candlestick, and also the low of the day on the daily time frame for this candlestick on August 10th. If we went below 850, I'll just get out, right? And what do you know? 850 was also the support level that I've been looking at for multiple candlesticks here, right, in the past. And also, it was a major level of resistance in the past. So if you lost 850, then I will know that sellers will have a leeway to pour in below this level and completely push the price lower, completely negating the bull flag that we're making. So that was my stop loss. And so here comes the next day. All right, so this is Thursday now. So Wednesday was my first entry for my principal position. And on Thursday, we saw a weaker price action on Tesla. So as I was looking on this candlestick, I was waiting for the price to come back up and above and continue to stray away from 867. But we didn't. But did I panic? No, because I decided to use the same stop loss that I used the previous day. So now it's considered a previous low of the day. So PLOD stop loss that I'm using now on Thursday. And so if we went below 850 again, then I would get out. Okay. And so that's basically what I did all day on Thursday, just watching this position go slightly lower and below my entry. But fortunately, and lucky for me, we didn't even get close to 850. And then here comes Friday, right? So Friday is when I actually averaged down on a bounce. And here's a quick lesson, guys, before I continue here. Whenever you decide to average down, especially on a long position, okay, where you're long, right, where you're trying to play a trade to the upside, okay, and you're trying to average down, look first for a confirmation of a bounce towards your entry level, okay, where you first entered into that trade. Because a lot of traders make this mistake. Okay, there's this weird notion that they have to average down when the price is going down, right? But you shouldn't ever be doing that, because when you're looking to average down, you should be looking for the price to move in your favor first to the upside, right? Especially if you have a long position. And whenever traders think that they have to average down during a downtrend, okay, they completely screw themselves over because they're adding on a losing position that continues to go lower and lower and lower. And so they fall into this hole where they just end up with 100% loss. And so what you need to do is kind of switch that thinking, that perspective, and think that you have to average down when the price is, turning around and starting to go back in your favor. And so that's what I did on Friday. So when we opened up, we lost this 867 support level again, and we kind of went back down and below. And this time, we decided to break below Thursday's low today. But I still want to see a definitive stop loss below 850. So I kept the stop loss in mind. And fortunately for me, again, okay, we did not breach that 850 level, and instead we immediately were brought right back into that 867 level. And that's when I averaged down, when we were above 867 and eventually staying above the 870 whole number level. And that prompted me to average down. Now, you might be wondering, wait a second, Andrew, if you're averaging down, are you actually averaging down because you entered in, at least around the first entry that you got in at, right? And so this entry price, right, is kind of literally the same. So how did I average down? Well, since I got those specific contracts, which I'm not going to, specifically give you guys because of the reasons I stated before, those contracts were slightly out the money. So during Thursday's price action, my contracts were slowly losing premium. And so eventually on Friday, when the share price was at 867, my premium for my contracts were slightly a lot lower than my first entry at 867. So that's the reason why I was able to average down at a cheaper price, and my position was able to be completely in the green by the end of Friday's close. Okay, so that is a complete trade breakdown on my current swing on Tesla right now. Now, let me explain to you guys what trade that you can also get on Tesla for this new trading week. Okay, so as you guys can clearly see, okay, you guys can clearly see it right here. We just broke out of this 2-hour time frame flag, right? And we are now above this critical $900 level. So if you go back on the daily time frame, we're very, very close to retesting this daily 200 SMA as well, right? So for this new trading week, I expect a small pullback into this 895 level. If you go back to our time frame, this 895 level is an intraday level. So if we do have a small pullback and we start consolidating above this $895 level, and we start using it as support, right? Since we used it as a previous level of resistance as seen here in the past, right? So if we use it as support, then this could become a new entry and potentially a swing trade for you all who don't have a Tesla position, right? So if you do decide to hold this 895 level, and if you're able to skyrocket above 900, we should be able to see potentially, okay, at least 970. Okay, 970 to 974 is kind of the broader price range that I'm targeting for this current swing position. Okay, so that's kind of the broader price target that I have for you all. But eventually, I would think that Tesla should be able to reach. So if you go back on the weekly time frame, above 1,000. Okay, specifically $1,070. Why do I think that? Well, if you guys remember, in the very first part of this video, I talked about this broadening descending channel, right? And most likely, it seems like we're about to head towards another retest of this descending level of resistance on this broadening channel, right? We've already retested this descending level of support on this broadening channel when we were consolidating. And so since we've already started to move away from the support, there's no reason why to, for me to believe that the price won't retest this descending level of resistance, right? Because we are already in an uptrend. So to further corroborate my predictions of Tesla going to 1,000 is, well, we have a stock split coming up. And in the previous stock split, if you use the previous data, we know that Tesla had a very, very huge hype run, right? Literally it sounds like a meme, but Tesla had a stock split hype run before the stock split, right? Even after the stock split, people were still buying and buying and buying because, well, Tesla was cheaper, but obviously the valuation wasn't changed. So, I expect the stock split hype to continue into the actual stock split date, which is the reason why you guys can still have a new swing trade for Tesla for you all to take. All right, so that's it for this video. I know it was kind of long, but I want to do a deep dive and breakdown on everything on the technical analysis and on my current swing trade right now. So if this was helpful and valuable information that you guys can apply for yourself, make sure you guys leave a thumbs up down below and make sure you guys comment down what you guys think of what will happen to Tesla in the near-term future. And if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe and make sure you guys hit that notification bell to make sure you guys know when I post the next video. All right, so I will see you guys on the next video, and hopefully you guys have a great time trading Tesla. Thank you all for listening.